serving the Republic of the Philippines for more than 75 years. Ito po ang Presidential Broadcast Service.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day. This is Dateline Malacañang. An Okta research survey revealed that majority of Filipinos are satisfied with the performance of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s administration. In its Tugon ng Masa survey, conducted from the 10th to the 14th of December 2023, 59% of the respondents were satisfied with the performance of the government. This is 3 percentage points higher from the 56% registered in October last year. Okta said that this is the first time a rise in the performance rating of the current administration was recorded since October of 2022. On the other hand, those who were dissatisfied with the government's performance also rose by 1 percentage point from 13% to 14%. Meanwhile, those who were undecided went down by 6 percentage points to 24% from the 30% registered in October. In terms of geographic areas, the National Capital Region or NCR and the Visayas recorded the highest satisfaction rating for the Marcos administration, while Balanced Luzon registered the lowest at 53%. From the dissatisfied respondents, only 4% came from the socio-economic class ABC, while 40% came from Filipinos in Class E. The survey also showed that senior citizens aged 75 years and above gave the Marcos administration the highest satisfaction rating at 76%, while Filipinos aged 18 to 24 recorded the lowest satisfaction rating. Okta Research's survey had 1,200 respondents and a ±3% margin of error at a 95% confidence level.
Dateline Malacañang.
An official of the Philippines House of Representatives on Monday said that security in Congress has been tightened following reports of some lawmakers receiving bomb threats. House Secretary General Reginald Velasco said stricter security measures are currently enforced at the Batasang Pambansa complex in Quezon City, especially for those outsiders. Velasco said that they just want to protect the members of the House of Representatives as well as its staff and employees against any untoward incident. The House's Secretary General added that he had already talked with the Sergeant-at-Arms and told him to impose strict security to all those who are entering the premises, particularly the non-members of the House and those who are not employees of the institution. Velasco did not divulge the names of the House members who reportedly received the bomb threats, but nevertheless stressed that the House takes all threats seriously. He added that a memorandum will soon be issued regarding the heightened security alert. Upon consultation with security guards, Velasco said that motorcycle riders were noticed to have been suspiciously scoping out the perimeter. Hence, a special parking area for motorcycles has been designated and guards will be roaming around the premises 24/7.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other news, the Philippines' headline inflation, or the movement of prices of products and services in the country, further slowed down to 2.8% in the month of January 2024. According to the Philippine Statistics Authority, or PSA, the 2.8% inflation is lower than the 3.9% inflation registered in December last year and the 8.7% recorded in the same month in 2023. PSA National Statistician Undersecretary Dennis Mapa said that among the main factors of the decrease is food inflation, which eased to 3.3% in the first month of the year from 5.5% the previous month. Food inflation in January of 2023 was also higher at 11.2%. Contributing to the drop in food inflation is the faster year-on-year decline in the index of vegetables, tubers, plantains, cooking bananas, and pulses at 20.8% during the month from 9.2% annual decrease in December of 2023. Fish and other seafood also contributed to the downtrend with a slower inflation rate of 1.2% in January from the 4.8% registered in December of 2023. MAPA noted lower inflation rates in flour, bread, and other bakery products, pasta products, and other cereals, which decreased from 5.6% from 6.3%. Milk and other dairy products, including eggs, which recorded 5.6% from 7.4%. Fruits and nuts to 10% from 12.2%, and ready-made food and other food products not elsewhere classified, which dropped to 4.7% from 5%.
Dateline Malacañang.
Malacañang on Monday announced that they are currently conducting a performance review of all incumbent presidential appointees to make sure that they remain qualified to hold their respective positions. In a statement, Presidential Communications Office or PCO Secretary Cheloy Garafil said that the directive to all presidential appointees, including those appointed by President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. as part of performance review and to ensure continuing qualifications to remain in office. Garafil made the statement following queries on a memorandum issuance by the Presidential Management Staff or PMS upon the directive of Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin on February 2nd, requiring presidential appointees to submit the documents needed for the performance review. Under the memorandum, all presidential appointees holding a post in government before February 1st, 2023 are directed to submit their updated personal data sheet or PDS and clearances from the Civil Service Commission or CSC, the National Bureau of Investigation or NBI, Office of the Ombudsman, and the Sandigan Bayan. The heads of departments, agencies, offices, instrumentalities, government-owned or controlled corporations or GOCCs, government financial institutions, and state universities and colleges are mandated to ensure compliance by all presidential appointees under their respective agencies. All required documents must be submitted to the PMS within 30 days from the issuance of the memorandum.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippines Department of Migrant Workers, or DMW, and Cybercrime Investigation and Coordinating Center, or CICC, on Monday signed a Memorandum of Agreement, or MOA, to create measures aimed at curbing cybercrimes that target overseas Filipino workers, or OFWs, and their families. CICC Executive Director Undersecretary Alexander Ramos and DMW Officer in Charge Undersecretary Hans Leo signed the MOA at the National Cybercrime Hub, or NCH, in Taguig City. During the event, Undersecretary Ramos said that the CICC is 100% behind the DMW in ensuring the welfare of Filipino migrant workers. For his part, Undersecretary Kakdak said, OFWs have often been the target of human trafficking, investment scams, and consumer fraud, among others. Under the MOA, the DMW will be participating in the NCH that houses equipment along with law enforcement, other government agencies, academe, experts, and international partners in one facility for a more effective coordination. The MOA also aims to foster an interagency cooperation and resource sharing between the parties towards prevention and suppression of cybercrimes and the implementation of reasonable and adequate cybersecurity systems impacting the Filipino migrant working sector. The CICC also said that it will help the DMW in digitalizing its records on illegal recruitment and trafficking in person.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippines Commission on Population and Development, or CPD, have called on the government to strengthen its campaign against the continuous increase in teenage pregnancy in the country. CPD Executive Director Lisa Grace Bersales said, the increase in the number of teenage pregnancies of girls that are less than 15 years old have increased to 35.13% in 2022. According to the Philippine Statistics Authority, or PSA, teenage pregnancy jumped from 2,320 in 2021 to 3,135 last 2022. The House of Representatives in September last year approved on second reading House Bill number 8910, or the Adolescent Pregnancy Prevention Act, that aims to establish a law that will quell the rising cases of underage women getting pregnant. The measure, Bersales said, is important in implementing the Philippine Population and Development Plan of Action, or PPD-POA 2023, that was approved by President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. through the issuance of Memorandum Circular, or MC number 40, last November 14th, 2023.
Dateline Malacañang.
Beijing on Monday evening has denied accusations that they are involved in the cyber attacks on Philippine government websites, which were believed to have been perpetrated in China and hit some Filipino officials for their irresponsible reports. In a statement, the Chinese embassy in Manila said that the Chinese government firmly opposes and cracks down on all forms of cyber attack in accordance with law. The embassy added that China doesn't allow any country nor individual to engage in cyber attack and other illegal activities on Chinese soil or using Chinese infrastructure. The statement came following Department of Information and Communications Technology, or DICT Undersecretary Jeffrey Ian D. reported that cyber attacks were perpetrated on the websites of the Philippine Coast Guard or PCG, the Department of Justice or DOJ, and the DICT itself, among others. According to D, even the private domain of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. was also targeted. In a news forum, D said that these attacks are believed to be advanced threat groups that operate within the ambit of Chinese territories. The DICT Undersecretary added that their objective is probably to gather information for years and strike when the time comes. These reports, amplified by Philippine media, has alarmed lawmakers. The Chinese embassy alleged that some Filipino officials and media maliciously speculated about and groundlessly accused China of engaging in cyber attacks against the Philippines. The embassy added that China believes that cybersecurity is a global challenge and requires collective response from the international community.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippines Office of Civil Defense or OCD said that the agency will strengthen its river basin management in order to address the long-standing problem of flooding in the country. This was stated by Civil Defense Administrator Undersecretary Ariel Nepomuceno, and at the same time said the problem of flooding in a number of areas in the country must be resolved. Nepomuceno said this required the cooperation of different government agencies, local government units or LGUs, the private sector, stakeholders, and experts in order to address this problem. Nepomuceno explained that policies and plans for river basins should be revised, strictly implement the policies against irresponsible mining, advancement of environmental protection, building of flood control projects, and permanently transfer vulnerable communities.
Dateline Malacañang.
And finally, the Philippine National Police or PNP assured the security of the Filipino-Chinese community in the country while they are celebrating the Lunar New Year or the entry of the Year of the Wood Dragon. According to PNP Chief Police General Benjamin Acorda Jr., a total of 1,457 police enforcers will be scattered in different places and times. Particularly, the police force will focus on areas where the Filipino-Chinese congregate, like Binondo in Manila, which is where the first Chinatown is located. Besides the Lunar Year, the Filipino-Chinese community in the Philippines is celebrating its 430th anniversary on the establishment of their community outside mainland China. The PNP chief said that they started preparing for the occasion since January 26 and will last until the 15th of February this year.
Dateline Malacañang.
Before we conclude our program, we would like to invite everyone to come and visit our Facebook page at Radyo Pilipinas World Service. You will be able to hear and view our Filipino and English programs, including news updates here in the Philippines. Kindly subscribe, like, and share our posts as well. And that concludes this edition of Dateline Malacañang. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this is Leo Magpayo. Good day and stay safe.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.